Okay, tonight we'll be working on installing a closet shelf in a very awkward scenario. We have a utility room here which has a lot of empty void space here, but it's kind of useless, just void space. So we're going to install some shelves, but it's kind of funny, so we had to custom do it. We have liquid nails to hold it to the wall. We have 15 gauge nailer, a flat face hammer. We have nail punches. Then we have the cleats and the shelf level, the compressor set up, some caulk and things, and we'll see those as we go through. So I've already scribed the line of where these go. This is about 4'4" and 5'8", 16 inches apart. And what you do is you take your glue, and on the end it'll get dry on the end before you use it. So what I do is I always like to scratch it off so it's tacky, and then I just glue a line wherever I'm going to put my cleats. And the line is the top of my cleats. So after that, I simply put up my cleat. And if you'll notice, as I do things, I'm not the safest person in the world, but there's a few things I wear safety glasses for, and that's framing nails, finishing nails, and cutting MDF board with a skill saw. It's terrible. So recommend safety glasses for this part. Notice when you cut your angles on these, because these boards have been ripped, they're rounded factory edge, you want on the bottom. So make sure your angle is on the rounded factory edge side. Go ahead and install it. Shoot a nail in the back, on the line where it needs to go. And shoot a nail on the front where it needs to go. Okay, and then just shoot it along a couple times throughout. And then go ahead and do that on the back one. Okay, and that nail didn't go in all the way. And that's what hammers are for. Make those flush. Okay, so that's your top cleat. And then the bottom cleats. If your cleats are crooked at all, it's better to start at the end and then lift it up to the line and nail it. That way you can push and pull it as you go through and let the nails hold it. The glue on top, just push it so it's flat. If you're putting your cleats in and installing shelves later, it doesn't matter much now because we're going to put the shelves on immediately. So, other cleat. Okay. It's a good idea, but not necessary. To glue on top of the cleats when you glue your shelves down. You can just use nails, but gluing everything is helpful because it makes it all the stronger, especially on awkward ones where it doesn't have full support on all sides. The glue will really help it, so in case any funny weight fluctuations try to occur, the glue will help it from pulling nails or anything like that. Okay, so this is a 24-inch piece of MDF that I have. See I don't know how well the light will do in here, but this is the factory edge of MDF, and it has a primer or a coating over it of the regular shelving, which makes it so it's easy to paint over. I did this on the router, but because I did it on the router and MDF is so loose, MDF stands for medium density fiberboard. So it's fiberboard which has been pressed together with glues. So it's a bunch of just particles of board. And so there's a lot of voids and things, and it doesn't seal tightly when you cut it. It's not like a hardwood or anything. So I'm going to have to caulk that edge so it'll take paint kindly. And then I just kind of threw a bevel or a round edge on there too, just for fun really, because it's not necessary at all. But I measured the location and made sure that I was at least an inch away from this at all times. I don't think it gets very hot. It's been on all day in the winter here, and it's not really hot at all, so not really worried about it. But this is going to shoot in straight down at an angle just into the board there. So and I work on fast trigger because that's really slow. Okay, so go ahead and nail that, and then do the bottom one. If I was thinking more about it, I would have cut this out a bevel here so it didn't have a sharp corner. And if I wanted to, I could do that in the future. Okay, so that's your main structure there. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to finish up by the extra glue here that I didn't use. I'm going to put on the back of this plate because I'm going to use it. And this glue here, because we have some extra space, I'm going to have to put this up and put some clips on it, and it'll be a broom and mop hanger right here on the 1x6. So I'm just going to glue straight to the back of this. And make sure you push the clip on the back of your glue gun, or else it'll just keep draining, and it's embarrassing when you get glue all over the place. Most likely, so it doesn't matter if you have to get things in from the side. So I'm going to have it so it comes down like this, and then down like this down here also. Now I like to do that I take these plates, and it's about ½ inch longer on each side than the board. That way they sit nicely in the center. I glue down the middle of this, and then I put it in the middle and attach it like so. Okay, so now it's been glued. Then I go take my nail gun from the opposite side, hold it like this, and shoot it in. Okay? If it does that, it's not good, so don't do that. So go ahead and shoot it in the right spot, that way it doesn't do that. Okay? It's not a problem because I can knock it out later. Then you shoot it in like this. Okay? 2 will be plenty. Okay, so that holds it there. After you're done doing that, don't drop your nail gun, that's also embarrassing. You'll put glue on the back of this. All over, make sure it's all moist and wet or else it won't go tight against the wall. And then glue on the top of this. Make sure you push that button again. So we're going to install this, and what I want to do is make sure that this shelf here stays level when I put this in. So I want to put it my level in such a way that I'm able to read it from the edge. So now I'm going to push it up until it's where it needs to be. And then when it needs to be, I see that it's level. I'm going to put this straight. Shoot nails into it like so. And it still has a little bit of slide to it. So I have to get my gun above where I want it. Okay, and then from back here you can see where you're doing. Okay, and so I missed a little bit, but it's not too big of a deal. So that's that support, and that will be really secure once all the glue dries on all the sides. So the same thing goes for here. I won't waste time on the video, but it goes there, and then what you're going to want to do is get the nail punches out. So you want to set your nail gun to a power level so that your nails are getting flush or a little bit deeper, because when you have to go through and nail punch them all back in, it just wastes a whole lot of time. So get your nail punch, you just put it right on top of the head and hit it in. On these larger areas, you don't even use the nail punch. You can just go through, feel it, and hit it with the flat face of your hammer. And it'll get them usually flush enough to matter. Now, where you really want the nail punch is on the MDF. The MDF is more dense than the clear pine. So go through and just feel for it with your fingers. And if you feel spots that are higher, a lot of times it'll just be the wood that got roughed out. But if it's the metal, then that's when you're going to want to have to punch it. So go ahead and just feel for all the nail holes. These all seem to be pretty good except for a few here. And if they're not going in, then you have to nail punch them. Okay, so I'll do the top later. What I'd like to show you now are a few caulking techniques I've developed over time. And so trade out your glue for caulk. And I don't know how well the light is here, but we'll go to the light. If you can see the tip of my gun here, I cut it at an angle, and my boss cut this one a couple days ago, but when I do it, I like to cut a flat surface on the back here, and so it smooths it out as I go. But you want your hole relatively small. Actually, you want it really small. And this gun's almost out. But you'll see a lot of houses aren't square. In fact, I've never seen a square house in my whole life. Everything's always out of something. And it takes more time to calculate the exact crookedness of the place than just caulking it when it's a little out. So right here I'm like an 1/8. Right here I got like a 1/4 inch of a gap. Okay, so it's here tight, and then other places I have up to a 1/4 inch. And other houses or other closets I've done in this house have been like 3/8 of an inch out of square. So what you want to do is you want to caulk it, and if your caulk's going in it and the gap's too big, what you're going to want to do is I call it like a weaving pattern. So if you could get real close to this and see this, I touch the wall and pull back and grab it, and so I continually go back and forth and literally weave over the top, and like a spider web it'll just cling the two together. That way you don't fill the void, because it's just a waste of caulk. The purpose of the caulk is to seal the joint and to allow paint to be able to make it look nice in this application, because it's not an exterior application. Then you wipe a couple times with your finger at a sideways angle, and it'll fill just the top of that enough to be able to float the caulk. And then all throughout here, you want to take all that extra caulk on your finger, and this is perfect for nail holes. You just go through in all the nail holes and you caulk it. Okay, so those are for big gaps and nail holes. And then for the majority of this, it goes really fast, because all you have to do is go down, okay, and then once you caulk that, you just go back, run a finger to smooth that joint out, make sure there's no gaps in it, and then whenever you get excess, just fill in the nail holes. So now we have a more usable space to be able to actually use the closet rather than just put some nonsense in the bottom. We'll be able to actually use it for a few storage things. So excess fluff on the gun, good for nail holes and things like that. So hope I enunciated well, hope you saw things well, hopefully the light was okay. So thanks my beautiful assistant, my wife, for videography, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks, bye.